All right, 2 tickets. So that'll be $2.75 and another $2.75. So you owe. Oh, hey, mathematicians! Welcome to the festival. My job at the ticket booth is to calculate customers' balances and give them back the right change. Want to help me out? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm teaching a class right now. Sorry. The customer owes money for the tickets. Should we represent that with a positive or negative value? Right, owing money is represented with a negative. So we need to find negative $2.75 plus negative $2.75. Where do we start? We know how to add and subtract integers, but these are rational numbers in decimal form. Can we apply the same rules? We are adding 2 negative decimals. Decimals represent part of a whole. We can use base 10 blocks to represent decimals, just like we used integer chips to represent integers. This problem is represented as negative 2 75 hundredths plus negative 2 75 hundredths. So, will the answer be positive or negative? Adding together negatives creates an even bigger group of negatives, so the answer will be negative. We could start by combining the negative 75 hundredths with negative 25 hundredths to form another whole. The total is represented by negative 5 wholes and negative 50 hundredths, which means the customer's balance is negative $5.50. Is there a more efficient way to find the total? When adding integers with the same sign, we ignore the sign and add the numbers as if they're positives. Then we apply the appropriate sign to the answer. So let's try the same strategy. Ignore the negative sign and arrange the numbers vertically. Remember to keep the decimal points in line to align the numbers by place value. Pause the video here and finish the addition. Check your work. Bring down the decimal first, so we don't forget that later. Now add like normal. 5 plus 5 is 10. We put 0 in the hundredths place and regroup 10 hundredths as 1/10. Next, 1 plus 7 equals 15. So place 5 in the tenths place and regroup 10 tenths as 1 whole. Finally, 1 plus 2 is 5. Since we're adding negatives, the answer is negative. Our customer's total is negative $5.50. We found the same balance with both methods. Can you help me calculate a few more balances? This customer's balance is negative $5.50. They just paid me $10. What's their new balance? What expression represents this situation? We know their balance is negative $5.50. Here are 5 negative wholes and 50 negative hundredths to represent their balance. They then paid $10, which we can represent as plus 10 because it reduces their debt. This time we're adding a negative plus a positive. Will our answer be positive or negative? Well, think of this. Are we starting with more negatives or more positives? More positives, so the answer will be positive. When adding integers with different signs, we cancel groups of negatives and positives that equal 0. So let's do that with our model. We need to regroup one of the positive wholes so we can cancel 50 negative hundredths and 50 positive hundredths. We also can cancel 5 negative wholes and 5 positive wholes. Positive 4 wholes and positive 50 hundredths are left, which represents $4.50. The answer is positive because they paid more than they were charged. Just like with integers, when adding numbers with different signs, find the difference in the two groups by subtracting. Then apply the sign of the larger group to the answer. The negative group has 5 and 50 hundredths, and there are 10 positives. Since there are more positives, find 10 minus 5 and 50 hundredths. Remember to add placeholder zeros to align place values. Pause here and finish the subtraction yourself. We started with more positives than negatives, so the customer's balance is positive $4.50. We found the same answer with both methods. And since they paid more than they owed, they need $4.50 in change. The next customer's balance is negative $11. I accidentally charged them for an extra ticket. Whoops. So I need to take away negative $2.75 from their total. What expression represents this situation? Pause the video to write the expression. Negative $11 take away negative $2.75 is the expression that represents the situation. What's the customer's new balance? Here are 11 negative holes. How do we show taking away 2 and 75 hundredths? To subtract negatives, we could just cross out negative 2 and 75 hundredths. Starting with the smallest place value, let's cross out 75 hundredths first. I'm regrouping one of the negative holes, so it's easier to subtract positive 75 hundredths. Now, cancel 2 negative holes, and negative 8 holes and negative 25 hundredths are left. The customer's balance is negative $8.25. Can we find this another way, though? Subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Pause to rewrite this subtraction as addition. This problem is the same as negative 11 plus 2 and 75 hundredths. Now we can follow the rules for adding. Pause to find the customer's balance. Look at the signs to determine the process you should use. The signs are different. To determine how many more negatives we started with, subtract 11 minus 2 and 75 hundredths. Check your subtraction. The customer's balance is negative $8.25 since we started with more negatives. The rules for subtracting positive and negative decimals are the same as for subtracting integers. Rewrite the subtraction problem as addition, then follow the rules for adding positive and negative numbers. I think you're ready for the last customer. The last customer's balance is negative $27.50. They want 3 more tickets, so I need to charge them $8.25 more. Pause to calculate their new balance. Write the expression first, then find the balance. Their starting balance is negative $27.50. To show purchasing tickets, we could subtract $8.25 because this makes the customer's balance even more negative. You could have also written the expression as negative $27.50 plus negative $8.25. These expressions are equivalent because subtraction is the same as adding the opposite. Here, I'm going to use the addition expression. We're adding decimals with the same sign, so ignore the signs and add normally. Check your work. And since we combined negatives, the customer's balance is negative $35.75. Thanks for helping me at the ticket booth. We learned that when adding or subtracting positive and negative decimals, the rules are the same as working with integers. We just have to apply the rules for adding and subtracting decimals to the situation. Now, make sure to finish the guided notes and practice levels 1 through 3. Until next time, keep questioning, keep calculating, and remember, making a prediction about the outcome before you start will lead you in the right direction. See you next time.
Hey.